Rafi Devers, speaking through his translator yesterday,
I just wouldn't speak if I was him.
told the world that he will not consider playing first base. He is refusing to entertain the idea of going over and trying to play first base for his team. It was a moment of defiance, and it is certainly a moment that was, I would say, well, less than admirable.
Shocking.
Unbelievable.
You thought these were fake, right? When they first came out.
When I saw just the quotes, just the tweets, I thought it was fake.
Like, there was a point when Randy Moss, when I hold the weight of the earth on my shoulders, sometimes you just want to be slapped on your butt by your boss and tell him you're doing good. Like, that was his break point. I bet there was a break point at some point with Nomar. There was a break point at some point with John Lesser, contract-wise, where you go right back to that point. That's where it went bad for the guy. That's why Boston doesn't like this guy. That's why his ass isn't here anymore. And this could be one of those defining moments for him. Because, I know he's your star. I get that. And for me in baseball, I like the stars. But I want a likable star. I want an Ortiz. I want a Manny. You have to have this guy because you got the bat. He just seems like he's on an island a lot. Like I kept talking this past month about Bregman. Like, you have to go outside the organization and bring in a guy to be a leader on your team. This guy's no leader. Days like yesterday, you're an outsider. Put that circle down, boom, take that dot. You're on the outside. I wouldn't want to play with this guy. Your team's scrambling right now. Now, at the beginning of spring training, that's a different story. You bring Bregman in as the third baseman. You pissed him off. You handled it poorly. I blame the organization and the communication with the player, Devers, for that. Now you got a guy that goes down, out for the year, ruptures a tendon in his knee, and you're scrambling now as a team. You're a team that's hovering at 500. You're basically a 500 team. The better baseball team is with Rafael Devers on first, and they're bringing another guy to have a bat. Like that, everybody that talks about baseball says that's the way to go, except A.J. Przinsky, who we referenced the other day. Yeah, go be A.J. Przinsky. See how that goes for you the next 8 years. I don't think you'll be here that long.
Well, Rafael Devers has 8 years remaining after this season.
Right.
He'll make $27 million this year, $27 million next year. He will then make $28.5 million for the remaining 7 years of the deal. That's the money that Rafi Devers will make. And if I had to guess, he's going nowhere. He's going absolutely nowhere. No one is calling to trade for Rafael Devers right now.
Right.
Probably not calling next year. He's here. He's not going anywhere. There's no dump happening here with Rafael Devers. He's here, so
nor should there be.
And there won't be. He's not going anywhere. He's going to be a member of the Red Sox. So really the question now is, and we will get to more of what he said because it was insane, the stuff that he was saying yesterday. But the question now is, how does this team get past this? How does this team become a winning ball club with a winning culture with the highest paid player in the room, the guy with the biggest contract,
Calling your GM out.
openly saying that he will not do what it takes to win, that he will not go the extra half mile, we'll say, of going over and trying to play a little first base for his team for the time being, that he just won't go above and beyond, that he wants to be a bare minimum guy. He wants to be a bare minimum guy and also be the guy with the biggest contract and the most security in the room.
It's not good.
It sends the most horrible message. It is not the way to build the culture that this team so desperately is lacking, as we have seen for the last 6 weeks. They do not know how to be a winning team. They do not have strong leadership. They've been lacking it for years. They bring in Bregman. That's nice, but that's not fixing everything. Nope. And
might have made it worse.
All they would need is just a little something from this guy in the way of, yeah, I'll do it. Whatever we need, guys.
He said it the other day. If he just attempts it, it doesn't work, you appreciate it.
Going over and playing first base is a huge ask, which it isn't. Also, Rafi Devers is now going to be disliked by a large segment of the fan base. The best hitter in the lineup is now going to be disliked, which sucks.
Welcome to the world.
But he brought it on himself to a large degree. It's not completely his fault. Most of it is his fault. The team has acted like a bunch of jackasses, too.
Yep.
Breslow and Cora. Both jackasses in this entire episode going back to this offseason. Those guys are not blameless for the Red Sox being in the position that they're in right now.
100%.
They're not.
No, they're not. And to be totally honest with you, I wonder if Breslow and Cora are even on the same page when it comes to this stuff, based on some of the quotes that we've seen from Alex Cora, and Breslow being the one to talk to Devers about this move as well. And it's clear to me, by the way, and I get it, Devers, like you said, Zoe, can be pissed about this whole situation. And the way Breslow has handled this, I can't say enough. I understand why Rafael Devers would be upset by everything that Breslow has done. That being said, this situation came about based on a catastrophic knee injury. This was not in the plans.
Thank you.
And so step up when one of your teammates goes down and play first. And you can be pissed about it. You can be angry about it. I get it.
It's an emergency.
But you got to do it. This was not the plan. This was not the plan.
No, it's an emergency situation. That's my point on it. Like, whatever happened at the beginning of spring training, that's different. Okay? Team screwed that one up. Then he got over it. Then he became a DH. But now, you're a big guy on first. Tristan Casas blows out his knee. We got a problem. How do we fix it? And we have a guy inside here that could probably do it and do it well. Heard Lou the other night broadcast. They're like, going from third to first, no big deal. He can do it. David Ortiz played first, minimally. It's just, wow, man. There's your star power right there, pulling a star power type move.
And I think this all now falls on Alex Cora, right? Because clearly from an emotional intelligence standpoint, I don't think Breslow is the guy moving forward that's going to – and clearly Devers has a major issue with Breslow. It's going to have to be Cora to sort of bridge this whole thing. I don't know if Cora's on the same page as Breslow with this decision, by the way.
Too. He might be having meetings with Bregman quietly, because I see some of the Red Sox videos they put out there where getting to the park early, and here comes Bregman, and they follow him in. He goes right in, Cora hugs and fist bumps him. There's my guy. What's he telling him? Hey, you're the third base. Okay, just don't worry about this other stuff. We got to figure it out. That's how you operate.
Is that Devers' problem with Breslow? The fact that Alex Bregman is here?
I think that's what started.
The way he's embarrassed.
The way they handled the whole situation this offseason, telling him that he was going to be the third baseman, and then all of a sudden, last second, you sign a third baseman. Breslow did a poor job of that. Breslow,
he's not a people person.
What if Bregman was the second baseman right now, like we all thought he was going to be when he came here? What if he was the second baseman, Casas goes down, and they say, Devers, we need you to move over to first?
Yeah, I think that's a different conversation. I think you're probably having a different conversation.
Yes? Does he say yes?
Probably.
Yeah, I think that there's a different conversation going on.
You don't got a star power and Bregman coming in and signing a big deal. You bring up a young kid, put him in there, or a utility guy third. Yeah, I don't think you'd have a problem with it. I think he's embarrassed.
All right, more on what Devers had to say yesterday, because I thought he was wildly disingenuous in some of his comments. And yeah, I mean, it's a fair question. If he were still in the field, is he more open to the idea of going to the other side of the diamond? I think this all goes back to him just being a pouty baby about it right now. So we'll talk more about it. It's on the way. Devers does not want to play first base, will not do it. Rafi Devers won't play first base. And part of what he said yesterday, I think, was wildly disingenuous. First of all, he claims he's upset that they asked him to play first base, while claiming that the team doesn't stay true to their word.
Liars.
Saying, they told me I was going to be playing this position, DH. And now they're going back on that. So, yeah, I don't think they stay true to their word. Like it was some sort of all-important promise that you would only be playing designated hitter. But in addition to that, he said that next thing you know is someone in the outfield gets hurt and they want me to play in the outfield. No. Nope. He knows that's not true. We know that's not true. That is an utterly ridiculous thing to say. He also was referring to DH as a position.
I don't think, me personally, it's the best decision after, they asked me to play a different position and I'd only have 2 months playing this position to.
It's not a position.
This comment blows my mind.
He lives in a world that
I've
I like to
only
visit him in.
played this position for 2 months. It's just half of your old job. You've played it plenty. You've been doing what they ask you to do on a nightly basis for your entire baseball playing life. It's not a new position. There is no new activity that Rafael Devers has been asked to do as a designated hitter. The only thing new that he has been asked to do is fill the time between at-bats when he now sits on the bench as opposed to going out and playing the field. And there is a mental aspect to that.
Yes, there is.
I will not deny him that. That has to be difficult to sit there and do nothing all night on the bench. That kind of sucks. I'll grant him that. But don't tell us that this is some new position that you had to learn. There's nothing in the job that's new to you. You've been hitting your entire time as a major league player. You're really, really good at it, which is why they want you to be the DH. But don't try and tell us that there's been some major thing you've had to learn here over the last 2 months. I'm only playing this position the last 2 months. You're not doing anything new. You're just hitting, pal.
This makes him look so
It's
effing bad.
half of the old gig. It's now a part-time job instead of a full-time job. They want you to go back to working some full-time hours. By the way, he cannot make the claim that he is not valued by the team or that the team doesn't care about him or they're breaking promises. Dude, shut up. They paid you $300 million. You're in the rarefied air of baseball players who make that kind of dough. He sounds like a child.
I'm with you.
Yes, he sounds like a kid who
up and
doesn't
play.
know any better. He does not speak yesterday like a man would about this.
He's a brat.
He sounds like a little brat. You're right, Zoe.
Kids, you got kids? Kids are brats at times.
Like a stupid, entitled teenager. That's what it comes off like.
The position thing's ridiculous. I'm with you on this. Like he had to learn how to sit for half an inning. Like, you got to be kidding me.
I had to learn a new position. I've only been playing this position for 2 months. Wrong. You've been hitting a baseball your whole life. That's why you're here. They didn't bring you to Boston because you had a gold glove.
Right.
Okay? You are a hitter.
You were born
That's
with it.
what you do best.
Right.
That is ability that most players only dream of, the ability that this guy has.
Yep. You're born with it. I don't even think you really develop it. Like, you're born with it, and you've got that natural ability, and then you sort of perfect it. That's why you're getting paid $30 million.
What do they say about stupid quarterbacks? $1 million arm, 10-cent head.
10-cent head.
Okay,
Jeff George.
$300 million bat, 10-cent head. That's Rafi Devers.
Yep. Bingo. Okay.
He could not. I don't think he could have sounded worse yesterday than he did.
That makes him so unlikable. It really does.
No, I agree with all that. I agree with everything you just said. But do you think anything you said there is a surprise to people that know him in that organization, and Alex Cora or a Craig Breslow, with the way that he's handled it? Because to me, the way that he's handled moving from third and now being asked to move to first, it should not come as a surprise that he's dealt with it this way. And that, to me, points to the lack of emotional intelligence from Craig Breslow in handling this whole situation from beginning to end.
Well, that's where the nerdism takes over.
100%. It's just a spreadsheet, and it's not actual people and feelings.
This is why I'm going to disagree with you on this, though. Because do you know why Devers probably feels like they're going back on their word? And why it is not necessarily Craig Breslow's fault or Alex Cora's fault in some regard? They had to sell him hard on the idea of becoming the DH, and they may have had to tell him to throw his glove away.
Yes.
Because they know he's such a baby.
I think that's the quote that really pisses him off. Yes.
That they had to make the DH position seem like a really big deal. That he was going to follow in the footsteps of David Ortiz and his greatness as a full-time designated hitter. That it wasn't just doing half the gig. They had to sell him on the idea that it was actually a very important role and different from what he was doing to get him to accept it. That's my guess after learning yesterday what a child this guy is. That's what it comes down to. And so I'm starting to rethink how they told him to throw the glove away and why they did that was not because it was, they hated the idea of him in the field.
Yeah, we don't value you as a fielder.
It was, we have to sell him on the idea because he's refusing to do that. We have to sell, and play this up as a really big deal and say, no, this is a big transition and you won't play the field anymore because what you're going to be doing as DH is so important and is going to require so much more focus on that. I'm guessing that's what they had to do because he revealed himself yesterday for who he is. And so now, even though I think, and this is why I am a little surprised because I didn't realize he was a man-child.
Yeah.
Okay. So I didn't realize it was this bad to this degree. I think in his heart of hearts, he wants to be in the field, but his ego and his crying is going to prevent him from just saying, "Yeah, I'll go play first base." That's the problem. Right. He probably wants to be in the field. He would probably enjoy being out there and playing first base. But it is just his ego that is stopping him from doing it. It's not because he hates the idea of playing first. It's because he hates them. He hates Cora and he hates Breslow. And his ego won't allow him to do what's in the best interest of really him and the team. It would be good for him. You didn't want to go to the bench in the first place for a reason.
Yeah.
Because you liked being in the field. Because who doesn't like being in the field?
How about the dumbass comment about Breslow? Like, he's a former ball player. He should know better.
I mean, look, that relationship right there, I don't know if that's getting repaired.
I mean, what
anytime
are we
soon.
pissed about at Breslow? Because he asked him to go to first?
Yeah. Well, he should know better. He's a ball player.
Pick
He
what
knows
it
how
is
hard
that
it
you're
is.
going to be pissed at Breslow for. You're either going to be I can't look at me. I'm defending Breslow.
Yeah.
Well, you should defend him in this
So
one.
you can only be pissed at him for one of two things. Telling him to throw the glove away in the beginning,
Yeah.
or now what? Asking him to play first base? Those are the two things he's done.
Yes, I think that's what he's mad about. You told me to throw
No, but
my
which
glove
one?
away,
You got to
and now
pick
you're
one.
and now you're
but
coming
I'm
back
saying
to me
us,
saying,
not
yeah.
just Devers, but us. If you're going to be mad at Breslow, pick one of those two things. You got to make a choice there.
It's the beginning. It's the beginning.
He
one,
either
how they-
screwed up in the beginning or he screwed up now.
That he's not screwing up now.
yeah, I would
you got a guy down. You're trying to fix it.
I agree, but I also think now, he may have had to do that because this guy is such a head case. He had to deal with this basket case, just trying to get him to go to DH.
Yeah.
And by the way, something we haven't talked about. Cora is apparently completely incapable of having these conversations and sorting this out.
He doesn't want to get in the
Where
middle
is
of it.
he during all of
He
this?
doesn't want to get in the middle of it.
Well, that's why I wonder if there's a disagreement between Cora and Breslow in terms of handling this thing. And if he sides more with Devers in this whole
Devers said. He's a
situation.
my manager's a former player. He gets me. You're a former player. You don't get me.
Or Cora's saying, hey, I got to deal with him every day.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be the bearer of bad
Yes.
news. I'm not doing this.
Because don't you think that's weird for Breslow to have that conversation
Yes.
about moving to first and not Alex Cora, the manager of the Boston Red Sox?
Bring them all in. Bring them all in.
I do.
All in the office.
I do, but this is also your highest paid player and a superstar, so it's not too crazy for the GM to be involved. And to Breslow's credit, I think he's pretty available and is not a guy who hides in the office with the rest of the nerds. He seems like a guy who's around the clubhouse. Just from watching the Netflix special, he seems to be pretty present. I'll give him that. Yeah. I think we saw reports last year he was traveling pretty frequently with them and stuff like that, like Dombrowski used to do.
I would just think that Cora would be involved in that conversation. And it's not just a Breslow-Devers sit-down.
Right. Was Cora in the room?
It didn't sound like it
Doesn't
based
feel
on
like
what
he
Devers
was.
was saying.
He just brought up Breslow. He didn't bring up Cora. Singular. One guy. Cora wasn't.
I'm so disappointed. I love this player. I do. I'm so disappointed. I'm saddened by it because now people are going to turn on him, and rightly so, because this is absurd. And the way he acted yesterday was just wild.
Yeah.
Borderline unbelievable. You see the tweets, and you had to make sure that they were real, that it wasn't some made-up spoof.
I thought it was a parody account.
Yeah. Tebow didn't think it was real.
It just feels like he's a guy just does what he has to do. Like, he doesn't do the extra thing.
Bare minimum.
He's a bare minimum guy, and those aren't the kind of guys you want on your team. Sorry. I know he's talented.
Yesterday, he just outed himself for saying, I don't want to win.
Yeah.
I don't care about
it's
winning.
about winning. It's not about, we're just going to do this to do it. They're doing this because they want to win.
I just want to be comfortable and protect my ego. That's what he said. That's what he values
that's
most.
pathetic.
And that's very disappointing.
And you can't come back from that.
No.
No, you can't.
Oh, no. This is a defining moment in his career with the team.
But he's
What-
not going anywhere.
For now. I'm with you on that. You can't pull
What if he
the
comes
plug on
out today and says, okay, I'll play first base?
Well, I still think there's a chance that he winds up at first eventually. I do. Similar to the DH situation.
I don't.
But last night, it just, to me, again,
He
it's
seems
putting
dug in on this one.
your feud with Breslow ahead of the team, which
Yeah.
is frustrating.
Now
you
you're
can
calling,
be, you
now
can
you're
be
calling
pissed
out
at
the
GM all you
general
want,
manager.
but come
right?
on.
Yeah. Now he's calling Breslow out.
This is 100 times worse than what he said in the spring.
Oh, God.
Without a
Oh,
doubt.
yeah.
Oh,
No,
God,
no
yes.
doubt.
We didn't kill him in the spring. We're like, just stop being a baby and go play, We didn't kill him in the spring for it. We bitched about the team mishandling it. I stuck up for him. Like, I don't blame him being pissed off. You told me at the end of the year I'm playing third. Then you go bring a guy and you tell me I'm not playing third now?
But if
I'm
they,
gonna go home for a couple days.
This is Manny all over again. Send him for the MRI on both knees.
At least Manny was a likable guy.
if they go out and stick someone else,
Oh, at times he was not.
No,
so.
I know that, but the incidents with Jack McCormick, and I get it. But Manny was electric.
But
man.
Manny's the proof, though. You can be a complete jackass, and you can still get huge production out of
Yeah.
the player.
And he eventually moved the player. Yeah.
and they were also a pretty good team for a lot of his time here.
Yeah.
Right. But they had a lot of other guys that were the leaders.
He and Ortiz were the best 3-4 combination I've ever seen. That was unbelievable.